Man's the only animal on the face of the earth that drinks when he's not thirsty. The craft beer resurgence happened because there was a change in consciousness of the American consumer. We wanted to get away from the mass market industrial foods and get something more honest, more ethnic, more sincere, more value, more traditional, more back to nature, more local, more organic. And what is more local than craft beer? Going from mass market, selling beer, dumbing beer down to be the least objectionable to the most people, to reverting back to something that died in the 1800s in the Industrial Revolution. Local brewery producing local beer for the local residents. And if you go to many places in Europe today, they'll insist that the beer in their corner brewery is the best beer in the world. And that's all they're going to drink.
It's spun coconut fiber.
Oh yeah?
Cool. He's got what, a 3-year? He's like on there. It was like 35 grand though. It was like something like not.
People suddenly freeze.
Do you have any? How many more breweries do you have left to go to? How's your oatmeal, dude? You guys say hi. Our kids are all pretty high energy, and we have a pretty unconventional life. Really, we homeschool. I own a odd sort of business. There aren't that many people that do what I do for a living, and so they are in the brewery. They know more about brewing than almost any kid I've ever seen. They know more than a lot of adults do.
Elliot made this. Elliot's extremely artistic. So he made this tree, but instead of branches, he made bottles.
Bottles of beer and cannon beer. It shouldn't matter with cannon.
So like I say, our kids are, this isn't your sort of conventional house to grow up in, you know? But they, you know, we have a pretty flexible lifestyle, and I've always been a big fan of self-starters. Like Caitlin is 8 years old. She's our eldest, and she's just about to turn 9 and decided she wants to open a bakery. So I let her, you know, start making scones and doing her thing, and she, first 3 weeks, went out and sold $200 worth of scones to somebody. So like most houses, you don't have that kind of thing. Like you go to school at whatever time, you come home at whatever time. Kristen is home, and except for bartending Thursdays and Fridays, and so we are a lot more, I'd say we're a lot more freeform, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
A lot more freeform. I think of it like, honestly, I think of it like old school families. If your parents own the grocery store, you grew up in the back of the grocery store, you know? And I don't like how things have become where, I mean, you have to have two income homes in most cases. Now I get that, and it's no diss on that. It's just that we have this unique position to be able to do what we want. And so I think it shows in our kids too, because like I say, they're all super high energy, but we let them learn at their own pace. We let them learn as fast as they want to. I like to challenge them to do things, you know, and I like to see, I think there's something to be said for structure, but there's a lot to be said for just letting them be them, you know. I want them to grow up to own things. It's fine. I started a company where 60-something people work now, and that's cool. But I much prefer owning a company versus working at a company, and I would rather see them have the opportunity to do the same thing, you know, or do whatever they want. So.
Mom, here comes the ball. Tea.
I think I'm getting out of here in a sec. See ya. See ya.
Bye, Soren.
Sleeping in the bow. We all wanna know how you're not afraid of the downpouring rain. We're casting out.
One of the things that doing good beer hunting did for me was expose me to a lot of what Southwest Michigan has to offer. Once I discovered Greenbush and those areas around it, places like Journeyman Distillery, other breweries nearby, we started spending lots of weekends up there, right? It wasn't just about going out visiting a brewery and coming home anymore or stopping on the way to Grand Rapids. It started to become a destination for me and my wife Hillary. And we sort of started to get a sense of what the lifestyle of Southwest Michigan is starting to become. It's certainly changing and developing rapidly, I would say, in terms of culture, in terms of the type of businesses that are sustained there now. I think there's a core to the culture there that's unchanging, and that's another one of the attractive qualities of it, that these are good people in a good town trying to make good things happen for each other. And I think you experience that when you spend a few days there at a time. We're starting to think about acreage. We're starting to think about trees and the sand that's not that far away in Southwest Michigan, and the communities that you can be a part of there, and you can actually really develop something that you care about. We're pretty excited about the prospects that we have of moving to Southwest Michigan in the next few years, actually buying our first place there, which I think connects a little bit with where my wife's from, originally Grand Rapids, and where I'm from, Pennsylvania, where the land mattered and we had a connection to it, and the people around you did things that impacted your day-to-day life. It's just a unique experience, combined, I think, with all of the sort of resurgence in culture and business that it's having right now, mostly because of craft beer.
You think about craft beer in the United States, you think about New England, the Northeast, you definitely think about the Pac Northwest, you think about the mountain region, Denver, and then you think about Michigan. I mean, when I think about the 4 craft beer regions of the country, those are them.
Anybody that says Michigan isn't kicking ass in the craft beer industry is crazy. I mean, we're making probably some of the best beer, if not the best beer, in the United States right now.
Like they say, life is too short to drink crappy beer, and we've always believed in that. And fortunately, we've got over 100 breweries in the state of Michigan to pick from.
Michigan, I think, encompasses everything that American craft beer is all about.
With what's going on in the last even just 5 years, or even just 2 years, of how many breweries have popped up, and the local support from brewery to brewery to brewery it's a phenomenon.
I think that's the beauty of the craft industry in Michigan is we have the seasons, and you don't want to drink a light Pilsner or a wheat beer in the middle of winter, and you don't want to drink a stout or a barley wine in the middle of summer. And so it opens us up to such a broad variety of beautiful craft styles.
You know, we're bringing sexy back.
Oh, I wish you hadn't gone there. But yes, it's true, we are bringing sexy back. We're bringing back that local aspect of the brewing industry, which Michigan loves Michigan. Michigan loves the local aspect. You talk to any Michigan brewer that uses Michigan hops, they say, yeah, we promote the bejesus out of that because Michigan loves Michigan.
And what's happened is, I think it's beyond the wine. I mean, people love the wine, and there's nothing wrong with the wine, and there's some great wines in Michigan. But to come into Michigan and try so much variety, beer is not just beer; it's a whole broad genre of drinks.
And what's so nice about it is that you can go into any of these small towns, from Sawyer to Marshall to Frankfort and on, and find a craft brewing place, and you get spoiled.
So the state of Michigan itself is awesome. I mean, we're surrounded by fresh water. Like, if there's any place on planet Earth that you would want a bunch of breweries to congregate, Michigan's a good spot.
There's such a diverse range of beer styles in in Michigan. You can get everything from a sour to a lambic, basically. Every type of beer style is represented here, which is phenomenal.
I think it's a melting pot of a mishmash of all different kinds of characters. And I think that our state is made up of a lot of talented characters. Not that the rest of the world isn't, but for whatever reason, our characters are really good at making beer.
Nowadays, because of the craft beer movement, you're seeing even more chains like Finley's, which is in Lansing. Now they have 20 taps on. So you're even seeing more of them kind of get on the craft beer movement and realizing that their customers want Michigan beer and bring it into their restaurants.
They make beer in Michigan? I didn't know they make. Why don't they put that right on the label, made in Michigan? Well, they do. I mean, we have it now, but still we've got people that refuse to enjoy a Michigan beer because it's got aroma, it's got color, it's got flavor, it's got finish, it's got aftertaste. And you know what? You have a couple of them and you're done.
I mean, how lucky am I or we as brewers to be able to go to work every day, do what we love, splash around in puddles, smell the smells, know the math, do the chemistry, take care of biology, and then have people patronize us. And basically, it's always one of those where people, oh yeah, right, thanks for the support. When I say thank you for the support, but it's the people that are going and doing other jobs at breweries that are not at breweries that are, paying our paychecks essentially, and that's love from us to going and making what we love to do and making it better or new or different or experimental. I mean, Michigan is there's so many great breweries in the state of Michigan that it's hard to explain.
Our entire food chain has gotten processed, pre-packaged, pre-portioned, Cisco'd, Gordon Foods. You go to a restaurant and stuff is coming in the back door, spending minimal time in the kitchen, and is being turned out onto some form of the McDonaldization, the industrialization of food.
We're not trying to mass market something, make it the same every time you have it, and it's not the McDonald's of food. It's people are making individual experimentation kind of things, and if there's an attempt behind it and how that matches up with what they actually got, you can actually see sort of where they're heading with something. I think that's a much more interesting experience than just cracking open a beer and deciding whether you liked it or not.
Every third person walks in the doors wants to open up a brewery, and every fifth person wants to open up a hop farm. So it's kind of a hot thing right now. But I do think there's a strong support for it. Kind of those same types of things, all of us breweries also want to support local.
I think the ones that are going to be the most successful, let's face it, we're a business and we're entrepreneurs, and that's how we started. And an entrepreneur starts a business typically out of passion, and those are the companies that succeed. You don't start a business to have a huge profit in the first year. You start a business because you love what you're doing. If you don't love it, you're not going to succeed. Right.
And this is not all about just making money. That's the thing.
Right.
Most business people are just like, well, you see how much money you can make. If you work this thing like you're supposed to, the money part works itself out.
What do you think about when you Larry Bell? Who's Larry Bell?
Who is Larry Bell? That's a fun question.
I can probably blame Larry Bell and Bell's for me being in the industry today. I still remember the first Bell's beer I put to my lips, and I was blown away, you know, being in the state where we were drinking Bud Light, Rainier, whatever shitty beer we could get, to, you know, getting a craft beer and being like, holy God, you know, and then going off from there.
He's a very eccentric dude. I like Larry. You know, he's very has very strong opinions on things that sometimes differ from mine, but you know, that guy he's done some great things for beer.
But he's the one plowing through uncharted territory and saying, this is how the industry is doing it, and this is the right way to do it.
Uncle Larry. I call him Uncle Larry, yeah. I call Larry Bell Uncle Larry. He's the man. I mean, forefather or founding father, I guess, of the craft beer scene in Michigan.
You know, I still buy his beer personally. You know, I like it, but I think that did kind of set the stage for, you know, how Michigan beer is perceived. And, you know, that's what I grew up drinking, and I wanted to start a brewery partly because of the beers I was having from his brewery. So
He is a character, to say the least. He's a genius, a visionary, and he has developed an immensely powerful brand that he protects with a certain amount of veracity.
Bell's has had a huge influence on our perception of what craft beer was, especially when we were just getting a developing sense. Obviously, it was the first craft brewery in Michigan.
We always tip our hat to Larry Bell, actually, because you know, he was a pioneer in the state, and when we first started, yeah, he was the only one that you had to look up to, and he put the bar up there pretty high. So I think that's also why you see that, you know, founders and a lot of Michigan breweries are accelerating and are doing great work, and it's because that bar was set so high by Bell's. And then when we came in, we kind of looked at it and figured we got to make at least as good a beer as Larry, if not better, if we're going to compete.
And you've got one of the best breweries in the world an hour south of you, and you know, you're a young 25-year-old kid. You damn well better figure it out quick, or you just lost your business.
If you could just give us kind of like, hey, I'm Larry Bell, we're at Bell's, and this is Eccentric Day, and tell us about it.
I'm Captain Spontaneous, and welcome to Eccentric Day. This is the 12th annual Eccentric Day. We're really excited at Bell's Brewery that next year, Eccentric Day it'll be the 13th annual Eccentric Day on December 13th of 2013. So I'm already thinking about my outfit for next year. Oh, I'm Larry Bell. This is Eccentric Day at Bell's Brewery.
Awesome. Pretty much any conversation about Michigan craft beer starts and stops with Bell's.
Keep on going, keep on letting all the money over to city people. Oh, let it come, let it go. Never stop, never know. Try to live the life of beast and you'll never find your soul.
Because of the success they've had and the following they developed at an early time when there was nothing in Michigan, you can make a good case that a number of the breweries that you see coming up now and flourishing now can kind of give a little tip of the hat one way or another to what happened in Kalamazoo and Bell's.
Oberon is the beginning of summer. Oberon is tasty, delicious, taste of spring in a glass with an orange. Oberon is sexy.
We look forward to this. This is my 10th year of doing this, so it's pretty cool. Definitely is the face of Kalamazoo. When I talk to people on the outskirts and I talk to people in Chicago, people love this beer.
Oberon was one of the first microbrew beers that I'd ever drank. You know, so it was an eye-opener to me. It was a memory. I mean, it was, you know, it kind of changed your life in a way where you're just like, holy crap.
There's certainly a foundation that he laid in the early 80s that continued on in the 90s and picked up there for a bit in the 90s, died early in the O's, and then has really picked up here in the last 5-6 years. When Larry was running, there wasn't anything around here. Rex Halfpenny's referred to Bell's as his sort of oasis in the desert, referring to Michigan and where it was in the craft beer map in the country. Now the state of Michigan, we've just got 140 breweries all over the state, every corner you can imagine, top to bottom, left to right. You can't find a town, for the most part, with probably more than a few hundred people, that doesn't have a new brewery, and you can, one way or another, probably tip your hat back to Larry Bell and Bell's Brewery for starting that trend and showing people that it was possible, that there was an interest, that people like a neighborhood brewery, at the very least, and that it can grow bigger statewide, regional, and in this case, nationwide. So, there's a lot to be said for what's been done here in Kalamazoo since '83, I suppose, all the way up until now. You see a lot of boys coming behind that are doing some big things, and founders are doing great stuff. Green Bush, a number of guys all over the place, and it's nice to have that kind of momentum followed up on what Bell's helped start almost 3 decades ago.
So this is the grits. This is our malted barley that's now milled and crushed, and you can see the white starch particles that will convert into sugar, and you can see the husks that will create the filter bed.
Wait till I get home. Starts turning gray. I don't know what the future holds, but I know it's gonna be okay. Nothing ever is quite what it used to be. Never took life to life. But I found that it's
What are you working on right now? Oh, bills. Paying bills? Oh, man. Yeah, never ending. Friday, it's payroll, bills, and then I work behind the bar. I try to work behind the bar, just to stay connected with the community. But no, other things like throughout the week are either construction, building, because we try to do everything ourselves, and then system development, and then a lot of sales on the road a lot. So. Well, Paw Brewing Company was the idea for it was first thought up. It was 2000, the end of 2009, early 2010. And it was just from a high level of interest in industry and in brewing. And there are just a lot of opportunities open at the right time. When my partner's, what he was doing at the time, the economy took a dump and things, opportunities and doors started opening for a change. And then the same thing happened with me. I flew cargo for a company in Columbus, and I got furloughed, so and that industry was just going to hell. So just a lot of opportunities. We got to kind of fulfill something that at one time only seemed like just a distant dream. But the doors opened at the right time, and we decided to take kind of a leap. The business is like super capital intensive. Our system isn't huge, so it's one thing to say, well, we're not even easily able to meet demand, but you also got to keep it in perspective. It's not very easy for us to make a lot of product either. So probably the thing that stresses me out the most is how are we going to grow, because we've taken the position to grow organically and to try to build like a really strong foundation and not get in not be upside down on things, especially in the current market where there's a lot of breweries opening, and we just want to concentrate on making good beer and growing with what we have. This is our Black River Oatmeal Stout. I think it's our
our 6th time we've done community bottling day. We try to do it every Friday, from like 9 to 3, 4-ish, depending on the schedule of the beer coming out.
Just getting started.
Hey, what are we doing today, man?
Bottling our Black River Oatmeal Stout. Get some more back on the market. People are enjoying it, sucking it down, so we got to keep it rolling.
Trevor's like definitely one of the most interesting people you'll ever meet. I mean, he's hilarious. He's funny, witty. Always in a good mood. I mean, no matter what. So that he's just a really good brewer, and he knows his ingredients. He knows the history. He knows systems. I think just all around, he's well-rounded. He really cares a lot about beer, and he cares a lot about community, and he's just an amazing human being. Community is everything. I mean, the industry's kind of built on community, and it's probably the most significant part of all of this. But our community in particular has been incredibly supportive.
Every time, I think we've had different people in every time. Some people come back for multiple bottling days, but it really brings an extra sense of community when you're hanging out with people, not just at the pub, and I think it really tightens everybody up.
I don't know what better way to say it besides alcohol makes sense to this community. St. Julian Winery is, one of the oldest businesses in this community. Warner's is one of the oldest businesses in this community, and they've kind of been pillars since the very beginning. So people really can connect with. I think that was one thing that helped us with the community, pushing us early in the very beginning, is that everybody understood what we were doing. I mean, that's kind of what our community. It's been a lot of what our community's been involved in since the very beginning of Pawpaw. So that's one thing that made it, I think, a little bit more accepted here. I mean, it was just very natural.
I mean, really, it's the best part about being with a small business is that you know that it's not a one-man show. You can definitely not do it with, you definitely need your teammates.
It's really amazing to be able to have such an awesome team. I think like the building of the community, all the customers, and then everybody that we work with. That's probably the most satisfying part of it all. Anything from like kind of those bigger things like, creating values and then seeing them through in the company is really satisfying. But also, being able to make a product that brings people together and then enjoying it. I mean, to be able to drink beers that we make and to watch people enjoy it is extremely satisfying. It's an amazing feeling. So.
A few people said you need to talk to Rex Halfpenny. Like, you need to talk to him, and I'm like,
yeah, excuse me, but hell yeah, he's the man.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
the man with the master plan. You kidding me?
Let me.
But what? This is what we've done. I mean,
I know he's
with
like,
all actuality, without Rex Penn, and he's strong, but I don't do digital media. I don't even do Facebook. You know me as a human being. I don't even check my email. Without Rex Halfpenny, you wouldn't be able to. I don't think that making a Michigan beer film would be as easy without the Michigan Beer Guide that brought it to the next level. He brought it out to a ton of people in Michigan. I mean, he's the original. No, then they're really, really good people. I mean, my best point in craft beer was when I was working at Bell's, and I had a glass of 27-year-old mead with Larry Bell, Charlie Papazian, and Rex Halfpenny. You know what I mean? The three hardcore, amazing people in the industry, especially from the Midwest. But.
been a big, important part of my life all my life. And at one point in the middle and later 80s, I probably had tasted every beer in America. I can't say that now. I can't keep up with Michigan beer today because there's such a diversity of beer out there. I can remember the first time my dad gave me a beer when I was like pre-teen, you know. It was like, I can remember the first time he made me eat a red pepper. I didn't like that. I remember the first time he gave me a shot of whiskey. I didn't like that. And the first time he gave me a beer, it was like, wow, I love this. And I guarantee you that beer was a mass market industrial beer that he bought because it was cheap. But beer back in the 60s was, even mass market beer, had aroma, flavor, finish, and aftertaste that the same products today don't have. The beers have continually been dumbed down to their lowest common denominator. How can we make a beer the least objectionable to the most people? We're not the local brewery selling to our neighbors, but we're a brewery advertising on Super Bowl Sunday from coast to coast. And to do that, we market a product with less hops because somebody's going to find hops objectionable. Less malt, less alcohol. 30-can value pack, $17.99. It's ice cold. That's the way beer is sold. But I can remember beer back then, and I distinctly remember that hop character. Now, I didn't know it. I was too young. I didn't know that was what hops were. But I remember that beer flavor. It had that flavor. It had that aroma. I grew up in Hawaii. And growing up in Hawaii meant I was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, surrounded by the Pacific Basin cultures. And we had more Asians in Hawaii than we had what we called haoles, or, you know, people from the mainland. And my friends and I, we would always go to the store and we'd buy some exotic beer. And that could be Bass from England, or it could be Dos Equis, or it could be Steinlager, or Kirin or Sapporo, or something from Thailand, or you know, from the Pacific Basin. So I was always drinking different beer. What I didn't realize then was I was drinking the same beer. Mass market, industrial, light interpretations of a beer from Pilsen, once upon a time called Pilsner. And but I had no idea. We didn't call it Pilsner. We called it Pabst Blue Ribbon. We called it Budweiser. We called it Miller High Life, or Stroh, or in Hawaii we called it Primo. We didn't call beer by its stylistic name. We called it by its mass market name. That didn't happen with wine. You had red and white, and you bought the grape, the Chardonnay or the Chablis, which are two versions of this light colored, or Merlot or Cabernet, which are two versions of the red colored. But we bought beer. Coldest, cheapest. I remember sitting in Hayward one day with my wife Mary, the co-producer of Michigan Beer Guide, and Mary, we were sitting there at the bar drinking a wide variety of different stylistic beers. We weren't drinking Buffalo Bill's beer, right? We were drinking stouts and porters and hefeweizens and ales and lagers, and we knew this difference. This motorcycle comes up, and this leather-clad girl comes in, and she slams her fist on the bar and says, "Give me a beer." And the bartender looks at her and goes, "What do you want?" She goes, "Beer's beer. Give me a beer." And he goes, "I can't just give you a beer. You've got to tell me what you want." He points to the board, and she looks at the board, and she's looking for Bud, Miller, Coors, Pabst, Corona, Heineken, and none of that's there. She left. She was just out of her element, because to her a bar was a bar, and you just go in and you order a beer. And you'll get a yellow fizzy beer with a white head, 5% alcohol, ice cold. We'd like to call it a thirst-quenching beverage, but you can drink 17 of them. So it's not even a thirst-quenching beverage. Man's the only animal on the face of the earth that drinks when he's not thirsty. So it's a really interesting kind of concept about going from mass market, selling beer, dumbing beer down to be the least objectionable to the most people, to reverting back to something that died in the 1800s in the Industrial Revolution. Local brewery producing local beer for the local residents. And if you go to many places in Europe today, they'll insist that the beer in their corner brewery is the best beer in the world. One thing we've got going on here, we've got a really strong guild, we've got Michigan Beer Guide, we're showing this business, this entrepreneurial spirit as being successful. And people are gravitating to opening breweries today like never before. That's the big breweries that are growing really fast. They're growing really fast because there's demand for their beer. Now, how do you have demand for your beer? By making good beer.
Like the biggest reason that I wanted to do anything was I wanted to work for myself. I hated working. I got up and walked out on 2 desk jobs. I was like the worst employee ever. I'm the sort of person you should have never hired because I'd just mess it all up for you eventually.
Michael Kaiser, goodbeerhunting.com. It's a blog I started about four years ago, maybe 5 now. Mostly as a way to keep track of the beers I'd been drinking with some friends for a while as soon as we started getting into the scene. We're from Chicago, so we would go to the map room to do beer school for a while, and got to the point where we're drinking dozens and dozens of new beers a week, and we couldn't keep track of anything, so we started a blog just to sort of keep track for ourselves and keep a personal log of what we liked and didn't like and different styles as we were learning them. And then it sort of grew into this sort of travel adventure. Anytime I would go to a new location, I would travel for work a lot. I'd go to Philly and New York and places like that. And anytime you land, it was sort of an excuse to go looking for a new beer. So regionality became kind of a big deal for us. And the more I started doing that, the more I started wanting to capture more of the experience of what I was doing around beer. So it became less and less about logging beers and more about sort of capturing my experience along the way and the cool people that I got to meet and the places I got to go. And this just became a stop on the way there and on the way home every time. And I think it was about my 3rd or 4th time through. Actually, I bought a mug. It was the first time I'd ever become a mug club member anywhere. And there was something about it that reminded me of Pennsylvania, which I don't get back home to very often. The landscape and the people and the way they think about, local products here, and they take a lot of pride in it. That, I don't know, it sort of felt like home, and it was probably as close to feeling like Pennsylvania as I could get at the time. So now I feel pretty connected to the area. I mean, coming up here, driving an hour and a half to get to Greenbush just seems like a longer beer run to me. It doesn't seem like I'm going anywhere out of the way,
For us, that's basically, we're not open. Hey, we're actually not open yet. I don't even think the registers are ready yet. No, I'm sorry. If you want to follow him, you're more than welcome. Sorry. This is what happens starting at 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, you should lock that. Sorry, guys.
The way this started out as being a business that was owned by Justin and I was going to run the brewing part of things and kind of the general vision oriented stuff, that kind of aesthetic and pushing our goals and whatever, and Justin would take care of the business portion and the financial portion. When Jill came in and started working for us, it was last March that Justin and I finally had a conversation. I was like, no, she needs to be equal partner in this thing. Like, it doesn't make sense otherwise. What I realized about her as we were going along was social media, whatever. She's good at it. But what she was good at that I don't even know if she realized totally until she got thrown into the fire with it was actually running the overall structure of the thing. And so that's another thing when you don't just take a guy who's got a degree doing something or another and then like, oh, you're going to run a company because you do this or whatever. People's skill sets kind of come out naturally. We get thrown in the fire and all of a sudden you realize what people are good at.
So my day, like a typical day for me, honestly, is I come in somewhere between 7 and 8. Sometimes a little later, but rarely a little later. And I come in and I always sort of sit right here. Occasionally we work in our office across the street, but honestly in busy times, it's more about being present. I count out the drawer, I dole out credit card tips from the night before, and then I kind of set up the day. I talk to Jen when Jen gets in. Jen's our marketing director, and I say, what do we have to do today? What's coming out today? I make plans for, do we have to run errands? And then I basically sit here and work. Whether work is label approval or taxes or juggling money or social media, schedule. I do all the taproom scheduling and stuff like that. So my day encompasses everything. Like whereas Scott's day often encompasses running around, fixing things or making sure that the beer is going right and micromanaging everything else. And Justin's day, and not in a bad way, just in a real way. And Justin's day is really like I write checks, I juggle money, I do the DDA, whatever. My day can go anywhere from like a sales call in Grand Rapids to an overnight in Detroit to an event in Chicago to sitting here and, most people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, Facebooking, which is a job. Right. So my typical day can do kind of anything.
We had this very narrow view of what we could do in our first year. We thought I'd be brewing and then coming up and giving samples to people and selling the beer out the door, like a mom and pop shop.
When they opened this tap room, they thought this was just going to be a nice little cozy place to drink some of their beers when people stopped in.
Yeah, we actually believed that or something.
I don't think they had any idea that the locals were going to take to this so crazily, and even the tourists. I don't think they expected to have such a draw and become such an anchor in this town.
My family always said I somehow managed to always land on my feet.
When Scott almost lost his finger, things got so bad financially that they literally lost everything.
We ended up going bankrupt, losing our house. I can still drive by my boarded up house in the ghetto in Chicago. I did last week.
And luckily we have a big enough house that we could take them all in.
We lived in, my parents had this big apartment above their garage. We lived there for a year with our 3 little kids, and I was brewing and brewing and brewing. So we're bankrupt, we have no money, but now we have no expenses. And I could devote all my, I went into it as fast and hard as I could.
And Kristen positively know what it's like to go from nothing to build this up. And even now, they put their hearts into this. It isn't just a business that he has. I mean, this is Scott. This is Scott and Kristen.
If I'm not working with my hands or doing something tangible, we have 43 people working here, and I'm still have my hands in everything because I can't. I'm not going to just sit at a desk. I'd rather die. It's not worth it to me. And all the stuff I ever did contributed to doing this. I built this bar, I did this lighting. Being a project manager at a tech company before I was a woodworker taught me how to run a business. Running my own business taught me how not to run a business, you know what I mean? A lot of things, you learn a lot, you learn from mistakes along the way too, and failing at things is a good way to learn about succeeding at something else. And that's why that's why people land on their feet again. If you just keep trying, you eventually land on your feet. I don't think that's me, I think that's everybody.
They opened up at an interesting time, I think, for the United States in general. I think the American palate is expanding through everything from beer to food to a lot of sort of locally made craft ingredients. We're getting flavor back in everything we do. So I think they're part of that big wave that's cruising through here. But the way they approach beer is experimenting and always having something new. There was always a reason to come here and see if there was a new beer that you were going to like. Maybe you weren't even going to like it, but that was part of the experience, right? You got to try something new and figure it out for yourself. And I think the fact that they were always here day in and day out, putting in 16-hour days, that when you walked in here, you saw Jill, you saw Scott, you knew who was making your beer and what they thought about it. They got to say hello, and I think that was an important part of their success. And I really appreciate it when somebody does have a vision like that and they're not afraid to express themselves through the other parts of their business beyond the beer. And so this is one of the most beautiful tap rooms in the country. They make some of the best beer you'll have. They have a strong point of view on what their brand is about. Good beer wins is not an accident. That's how they feel about this company. And I think that's how they feel about craft beer as an industry. The interesting battle that people like Greenbush are going to have as they do scale up and they get more market share and more people are drinking their stuff around the country they're going to have to decide where they want to fall on that sort of local, regional, national line, and how that relates back to the product that they actually want to produce. I think Greenbush is unique in how much they experiment with every batch, and how much sort of hands-on work they do with those ingredients. And being able to scale that appropriately is going to be a challenge, but it's a pretty exciting challenge for somebody like these guys.
I've been back there since. Oh, alright. Okay. Alright. Alrighty. Alright. Alright. Right. Hello. Hello. I know. Well, I was on Mom's phone because Dad called in Mom's phone and, of course, had to talk to me right now. So, hold on. She needs a DBA number.
For who? Oh, do you have a form or anything?
My dad, and of course, the call was... It's about weeds in a pond.
Oh,
Had to
as
talk
far
to
as
him.
I know, there's no DBA number.
Love my pappy to death.
I like working with Aaron, you know, he's my son, and a lot of people don't have the advantage, I guess, of being with their kids on a daily basis, even as they grow older. So I've always enjoyed the fact that both of my sons are near and I can spend time with them. So, yeah, it's fun.
I'm a mama's boy. Always said I am. Love my dad to death too, don't get me wrong, but I'm for sure a mama's boy, so, you know, it makes it feel like home.
You ever interact with Aaron's mom?
Oh yeah, Den Mother.
What?
Den Mother, Callie Morse.
What's that like?
We call her Den Mother, and because, you know, she's got a bunch of crazy Boy Scouts running around, but because we're all still a bunch of kids. Yeah, she's the most genuine person you'll run into. Toughest lady I know, and as far as if something needs to happen, and you know, it's neat when you're talking to Aaron and instead of saying, go see the CFO, it's like, go see my mom. You know, so it's just so, it's special being part of a family business like that. So, but yeah, Callie, she takes care of every single one of us.
But when it started in college and he was brewing beer under the sinks in the bathrooms, you know, because it was cheaper than buying it, I kind of knew we were going somewhere, and then it just went from there. You know, we've always had confidence in him. He does what he says he's going to do, and like he said, if he can't, you know, doesn't know how, he'll figure it out till he does.
Yeah, I mean, I started out brewing, and I knew it was going to go, my goal was to grow, you know, and grow as much as I possibly could, but grow at a pace that I could handle. I didn't want to go to the bank and borrow millions upon millions of dollars. I didn't want to get investors involved. I didn't want to have a bunch of people involved. I wanted to stay as a family-owned company, and I didn't want to owe banks everything that I had. You know, I wanted to be at a point where I could get out if I had to. If something went wrong, that, you know, we could get out. And as we've grown, I've actually kind of written the business plan where if I had to go back to the small brewery I was at, I could still afford my bank payments and still be open as a smaller brewery, you know, and not get stuck where, shit, I can't make payments, I gotta close. I mean, the product is what's important. You know, making sure we brew the beers that we brewed from the get-go, even as we grow bigger, because you always hear that, oh, they got big and the beer tastes different. That was one of my goals. I started out on a 7-barrel JV system. We have a 20-barrel JV system now that I told them I wanted my 7-barrel system just bigger. You know, so I had them just make the same exact system, just a little bit bigger. And we're still direct fire just like we were back on the 7-barrel, so we didn't switch to steam. So there's nothing anybody could look at us and say, oh, your beer's different because you're growing. And I want to maintain that, you know, throughout. And we do 98% of everything ourselves. I mean, to building, to wiring, to welding, to refrigeration. You know, we do everything in-house. So it takes us a little bit longer than, you know, some people, because they, you know, pick up the phone, call the construction company and say, hey, this is what I want to build. The company comes out, builds it for them, and they open it. But we have to build it, put it all together, you know, get it ready to open, and then open it.
Aaron Morse is he's fearless leader. He's I've been in a lot of different areas in my employment endeavors, and he's the only guy that I've seen lead by true example. There is no stop. He's 100% go until he falls down for maybe an hour at night and then pops back up. And that hour that he's supposed to be sleeping is usually when I get emails or texts from him about new ideas.
We're a different breed, obviously. Most of us are into, doing things our way, doing what we want. And Dark Horse is definitely, along those lines. We do it the way we want to do it. We're not going to sacrifice anything, really, to not do it the way we want to do it.
You said this is Chinook or this Cascade?
Cascade 18 to 10 or Chinook.
Okay.
Chinook are a little skinny.
Yep. Look at all those phones.
I'm Bonnie Steinman.
And I'm Jeff Steinman, and
we're crazy, and we're in the middle of our 30-acre hop yard at Hophead Farms. We've always been a part of the Michigan beer scene, just as fans, enthusiasts.
up until last year when this yard was installed, we were pretty much just a little trial yard and ended up with about 3/5 of an acre. So we've really jumped from that humble beginning and been able to do this with the support of a great group of investors that support our idea and the industry here in Michigan.
Jeff wasn't convinced for a very long time that it was something to look into.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's just a cool plant. And anybody who's interested and they ask us, I'm like, just get a couple plants, watch them grow. That's the best advice I can give you. And going commercial is a whole different thing. Watching for this to get less milky inside and the lupulin to be more developed. Still smells good though. We had been struggling to put together our 3/5 of an acre yard and keep it going, and I had 3 jobs trying to keep the money up, and we tried to band people together to get the equipment to process, because we knew that it had to be done correctly to be successful. But we were really struggling as the numbers added up higher and higher and higher and higher as far as how much it would cost to do what we wanted to do. That's when it got scary.
Yeah.
Because we're like, how are you going to do that? I don't know.
And figuring out, okay, what would this piece of equipment be? Where do we get it?
What's the
how much will it?
consumption of
How much?
electricity, gas, everything.
Yeah.
And that's when
every
it was,
line item. It went from 50 line items to 130, and we were just trying to think of every possible thing. And doing that was scary, but actually, January 3rd of 2012 was the real scary part, when I actually quit my job completely.
When we knew
and
we
jumped in with
had
both
enough
feet.
money raised that we knew we could go, and that was the trigger point. That was really scary, because his job was the security.
Before, it was stress imposed by other people and being in an employee situation, and now it's our own, and I own it, and Bonnie owns it, and our partner Nunzino Pizza from Chicago, we all, we're in 100%, and It's just we can't be afraid now. We just have to keep moving. There's so much to do that now it's exciting. Now a year and a half in, we're like really rolling.
We look
and
back
it's
to
great.
see what we've done, and we plan each day, accordingly. But we don't have time to be too afraid, or you freeze up. So you just kind of have to keep moving.
Hard to use. Drink that. It's good for you.
Shut up. Look at me though. Don't look at the camera.
Don't look at the camera. Yeah, oh, he did it. Nice. Instead of Amish.
Oh yeah.
You gotta get the brim. Put a stick on
Looking at you. Brian Tennis, New Mission Organics, one of the founders of Michigan Hop Alliance. Our farm is located in the sprawling metropolis of Omena, Michigan, located in northern Leelanau Peninsula. And really, the reason we got into it is one, we've always been craft beer fans from day one. Even when we were broke, we always drank good beer, and we've always been interested in land conservancy. So 4 years ago, Michigan State University Extension held a seminar on different plants that we could grow in the Leelanau Peninsula and Grand Traverse region. And fortunately, one of them was hops. So we jumped on that, and we planted our first acre 4 years ago, and just been dumb enough to keep planting and putting more hops in every year. But we've also realized that the Michigan craft beer market has exploded over the last few years, and we wanted to be able to supply a high quality product to some of these brewers. It'll be interesting to see what hops taste like in Michigan after they reach full maturity. Right now we're still 3, 4, 5 years into it, and we're just now starting to pick up what different characteristics are. Our hops are going to definitely taste different than how they're going to be tasted out west.
Brian and I also went to New Zealand this winter, and it's a lot more like the New Zealand climate here in Michigan. And so we're getting a lot of characteristics that are very different from the Pacific Northwest, and also the culture of the hops. I mean, how you grow them, how you process them, that kind of stuff is a lot more like New Zealand than it is Pacific Northwest. So we're looking at a completely different bird, and that lends itself to the craft industry. The craft industry loves the new item, the new flavor that they're going for, and that kind of stuff.
One of the things that the Michigan Hop Alliance is trying to do is become a purple cow. And the whole theory behind the purple cow is, how many times have you seen a purple cow? So what we're trying to do is do something, completely different. And most of the growers in the Michigan Hop Alliance are all certified organic growers or working towards organic certification. And that's going to be huge, because 2013 is when all certified beers in the United States have to use certified organic hops. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case up until we really pushed for the National Organic Standards Board to take hops off the exemption list. And now, 2013, if it's a truly certified organic beer, it's got to have certified organic hops. So that's what we wanted to do. We believe in organic farming. It's more difficult to do it. You only get 60 or 70% of the yield of a conventional farm. All of our inputs have got to be organic. Our compost is a lot more expensive. It's labor intensive. You just can't spray Roundup. You've actually got to go out there and either have a cover crop or do it by hand.
The big trend right now, and the big to-do in craft brewing and brewing in general, is the IPA, the India Pale Ale. It was created back when England had colonies in India. India was a colony of England, and in order to get there, you had to sail your boat all the way down around the Cape of Good Hope of Africa and all the way back up to India. And because of which, it's such a long journey that it would, the beer that they took with them would go sour right around as you're passing Africa. And they found that if you doubled the hops in the beer and raised the alcohol content, it would last longer. So the India Pale Ale came about because you had more hops, you had more alcohol to preserve the beer, because hops are a very strong preservative. That's why they started using hops. And as a result, you got a very bitter, very strong hoppy flavor to the beer. And that right now is huge in the craft industry. Everybody loves it. It's the huge trend, and which is good for the hop farmers because it takes a lot more hops to make an India Pale Ale.
Now, one of the interesting things about Michigan, and especially the Leelanau Peninsula where we're based, is our soil is unique to any other region. We are actually out on an escarpment. We call Leelanau Peninsula the Pinky of Michigan. And we've got Grand Traverse Bay on one side and Lake Michigan on the other side. You know, we also love wines, especially Michigan wines, but we wanted to diversify and, you know, go into a different direction. It's a perfect area for growing something like that, and we just wanted to diversify a little bit instead of growing grapes, which is fantastic, but we're beer fans. And being craft beer fans, we're like, well, let's try hops. Unfortunately, we can grow world-class hops here as well.
They say North Carolina is big in producing, it's the new hub of craft beer, but it's not, because they can't grow hops in North Carolina. It's too far south from the 45th parallel. They can't grow good hops there. They can grow them, but they're not good. So here in Michigan, right on the 45th parallel, and between my farm and Brian's farm, I actually passed the 45th parallel. That's the perfect location for growing hops. The day length is perfect, the climate is perfect, and we get the most beautiful aroma and alpha variety hops that grow well and make the freshest, most spectacular beers here in Michigan.
All right, my name is Andrew. I started a mobile canning company here in Michigan with my partner Scott. We bring the line fully to their facility, and we're there, we package their beer, and we get out of the way.
Today we have the mobile canning unit in here, Michigan Mobile Canning. They come in, they set their truck up, bring the equipment in. You can see it behind me. And they basically come in, empty a couple tanks out into cans.
Run the street, wild and free, honky-tonk until a quarter of three. Well, something's gotta...
Canning to me is where craft beer is headed. It's a better vessel. It holds the oxygen out better, it holds the light out better. It's lighter, it's more stackable, it's more recyclable.
Take your love and throw it away. I'm gonna take your life.
Canning off willpower, so this is going to be our third run. So the first run was kind of tough, the second run rocked it out, but today they're having difficulties.
I said you ain't the only kid in this old town.
Africa hot here, guys. It's definitely a scorcher.
It's hot, it's got to be 100 degrees in here. The beer's at 36, I can't get it any colder than that.
So what we're looking at right now is the beer's a little bit warmer than we want. We're trying to get as close to freezing as possible. 32 and below is ideal. Not every place can do that, we know. So we've canned at 35, 36. We're at 35 now. You just got to troubleshoot your way out of it. Right now beer has a little more carb level than we were looking for, so we're bringing that down. You just kind of troubleshoot it definitely when you have something a little bit higher.
My theory is let it get running, because as the beer moves through the tank, it cools down. So I don't mind wasting a few cans, wasting beer to get it rolling, but it's their game.
Most particular jobs, there's going to be troubleshooting that you don't see coming. It's the frustrating part and it's the exciting part, is you never know what your day is going to look like. So you get there and you go through all the different options, all the different variables. You try to control as many as you can, and from there you just troubleshoot.
Got everything up and running. Line's going really well now. Once you get it calibrated in, it's a beauty. There's
just watch the cans go off there and watch them line up on the pallet, which is my favorite part of the job. All we're doing these days is talking beer and helping some of the guys we respect most in the state get their product to more people.
I said you wait till they came in town.
Yeah, sure.
See like what we're doing today?
Yeah. Today we're getting everything ready to put in our new 15-barrel brew house, and it should be showing up in a couple hours. And we're also, I guess we're doing a lot of things today. We're running water lines, we're running air lines for our new compressor, we're running CO2 lines. We like to do everything at once. So.
The last month has been crazy. We started packaging in the last month, bottling, so we've been dealing with a lot of ups and downs on that. All of a sudden the bottling line will be running perfectly and we think it was the best thing ever, and then you have a hang up. Like yesterday we had a hang up that stopped it altogether and the labeler broke, so we're sitting here waiting for a part and you can't label, so we're hand labeling again, but you can't hand label 6 skids of beer. It's 350 cases, it's 9,000 bottles, so you can't hand label that, so we're kind of handheld right now. But so there's things like that kind of re-humble us and bring us back to normal.
This last couple months has been intense because it started out, so we knew what we were doing. We started planning all this stuff back in the fall. We got that area closed in, put all the fermenters out there. First, the big 30-barrel fermenters came in the bottling line, so we had that stuff kind of up and ready to go, but didn't have the capacity to open it up until we started using the big fermenters. And then, true to how we do everything, I mean, we went I've told you before what we thought we would do in our first year and how much more we did. Well, this year it's the same thing. We're going to do triple what we did last year.
Dude, Scott keeps coming back and looking out the back like a kid waiting for a toy to arrive.
Well, essentially,
he comes out, he's
it's
like,
going to be a toy.
He's like, and then walks away, comes back, like looks around.
Oh, awesome. It's weird because a lot of people are like, take it slow, take it easy. I think that usually comes from the perspective of being concerned about quality control and all that kind of thing. Quality control, actually, our quality control just keeps getting better. So I'm actually antsy always to move up to the next step because better equipment, better processes, everything's kind of happening at once for us. And so our beer just keeps consistently getting better. We're coming from a place where we were working with totally inferior stuff when we started and got away with it. But for us to grow isn't, aside from the mental taxation on the whole 40 plus people here, it's also an opportunity to improve what we're doing and gives us a platform. This is really like the training system for all of my new brewers who are going to end up brewing on the 50 barrel across the street, right? So there's really no downside to doing what we're doing and growing as fast as we're growing, other than the fact that it's just like, it wears you down, man.
Ready? We're ready.
Let's do it, baby. How are you? That's looking better. I'm under a little pressure, that's all. Is he here?
Big time, big moment.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? How's it going?
Good.
So, here's what I'm thinking. Most people with 18-wheelers, what they do is they pull, turn it up.
It just means everything. Like, it means we're going from 123 barrels a week to 210 barrels a week, which may not sound like a huge difference, but it means that all the craziness we've been doing this past year actually can happen instead of this fake, crazy way we've been doing it.
It's a pretty big deal for us. I mean, after after brewing on that Frankenstein craziness and like being excited by a tankless hot water heater and a 30 barrel fermenter and a 15 barrel fermenter, it's pretty major. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
It is. This is so awesome. That's like platinum.
The heaviest weight is going to be over here with the
So cool.
head and
we ask our people to put in so many hours sometimes, and at the end of the day, really, Scott and Justin and I, and really Scott and I, because we're down here, bust ourselves. And, you know, on weekends we are still busting, and on Saturday mornings we're still busting, and it is all really fun and all really awesome, but you kill yourself for this job. And I don't know if you guys, like, I almost died. I mean, I shouldn't be alive. I had lupus, I had a stem cell transplant, and I should, 2000, it was my 8th birthday on Facebook the other day, so in 2005, and I was supposed to be dead by 30. So for us, like, for me, this is like borrowed time, and opening Greenbush has given me a lot of health setbacks, because I should be not working 18-hour days, and I shouldn't be putting my health in jeopardy, but I do because I love my job, and I love what I do, but like, I have to be very careful that I don't get sick and I don't whatever, but I also am like, I'm on borrowed time and fuck it, because I want to, I was given all this extra time, and I'm like, screw it, Jason and I are, you know, gonna make the most out of what we have, and I want to make what I have mean something, and I care really deeply. There's so much I could say. The PR part of me could say so much about agriculture and beer, and you should buy good beer, and you should care about Michigan and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, for me, like, this is my life, and I want it to be my life, and I want to make sure that whatever I leave behind, whether we have kids, whether Greenbush is here in 50 years, or whether Greenbush is here in 20 years, or whatever, I was a part of it, and I built it, and I care. I care about the parking lot, and I care about the beer, and I care about everything. And for us, it's a big deal. So, you know, I think that's why I work so hard, is because for us it is a second chance. And for me personally, you know, it's my second chance at life, and I'm a big believer in it. So that's part of, you know, I bust my ass for a reason.
Ain't gonna be no question. Ain't gonna change my mind. Gonna be no.
My name is Stephen Roginson, Batch Brewing Company. We are at our future location on Michigan Avenue, 1444 Michigan Avenue, and we're just talking about the future, talking about what we're working on, and the project that is to be Batch Brewing Company.
I give you all my love. I give you all my love tonight.
Started home brewing when I was about 19, like I said, and on and off since then. I'm 36, I would say, probably put it all together, 10, 12 years I've been a home brewer. Corktown is, I would say, the most dynamic and up-and-coming neighborhood in Detroit right now. There's some fantastic establishments already, but even beyond that, the community here, the vibe in Corktown is pretty phenomenal. This is a very simple system. This is a 10-gallon Sankey system. These are Sankey kegs that have been converted. And I mean, it's pretty simple. Hot liquor tank. This is my mash, and that's where I boil. I have a little brew computer, and then I have a couple of conical fermenters that hold 10-gallon batches. I have, as you can see, a vast array of Cornelius kegs. This is the kind of like quintessential home brewer system, maybe a little bit high end for a home brewer system, but at the end of the day, it's not a whole lot different than most home brewers use. Detroit owns this DIY spirit. People that have identified something that they want to do, and they go about doing it. And that's what we're doing here. Back in the day, the little hippie that I was, I had a job in downtown Royal Oak, and there was a woman that was a neighborhood local that I used to occasionally drive home. She was a nun. She had been a nun, left the convent. And I was talking to her about my music. I was a working musician for a long time. And I was talking about it like it was the only thing in the universe that was meaningful to me. And she said something to me, I mean, this is 15 years ago, when we were talking about what would happen if my music didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And she said, damn the one dream, man. This is it? This is all you got? Like, good luck, buddy. You know, I have amazing things in the rest of my world, and I approach beer as an enthusiast first. I'm doing this because I love it. I love to drink good beer. And if I create a brewery and we get up and running and it falls on its face and I waste tens of thousands of dollars, there are worse ways to waste tens of thousands of dollars. I will be able to say when I'm an old gray man that I opened up a brewery and I had a great time. In the meantime, I'm still going to love the beer that I drink and love the beer that I make at home, and that's what it's all about.
My name is Brian Josephovich. I started the Mitten Bar with my girlfriend Megan Feynman. We specialize in only Michigan-made products. We have all Michigan draft beer, wine, liquor, down to our soda. We have Faygo soda. Not many restaurants in town really featured craft beer, so it was a really big risk and a stretch, but it ended up working out. So.
Joe Short. I wanted to beat the system, so I was old enough to buy brewing ingredients, but not old enough to buy beer. So as a do-it-yourselfer, I wanted to attempt to make my own beer. And I wasn't going to give up the process until I could make something that I could drink. Nothing has captivated me more than the art and the science behind beer. And ever since then, I've just been really devoting my life to the pursuit of making great beer.
I want a weekend alone, all alone to rest my ego at home.
My name is Ryan Engelman. I am the resident beer geek at Right Brain Brewery. Michigan has its own it has its own spirit. There is a sense of pride in being a Michigan beer. By focusing on quality over quantity, Michigan has really separated itself from a lot of the other states.
Andy Langlois. My partner David Manson isn't here right now. He's with the family down in Florida, taking a well-deserved break. But he and I started this brewery a long time ago in a basement. We were both working as drug reps at the time and wanted something interesting to do to keep our minds active. And brewing was it. Yeah, we love it, man. It's so much fun to. I mean, that's your product. It's beer. I mean, we get to try it and taste it and critique it and find out what we can do different with it, and it's a really fun process to do day after day.
Here at the Michigan Winter Beer Festival. So we are outside for approximately 6 hours drinking beer in the snow.
6,000 tickets were sold in just under 24 hours here at the Michigan Winter Beer Festival, which is no surprise because Michigan beer has grown in popularity not just here in Michigan but all over the country.
And if I were someplace else, were someplace else, and if I were someplace else, would this be?
blessed to be in a company that's doing it for the right reasons, and we got a community that is just there for us 100%, making quality beer and educating the community about better beer, which is what we want to do. So it's a blessing. It's a big blessing.
You shivering junkyard, you oval cloud driveway, you. Come on.
Jeremy's been waiting for an entire year.
I've been waiting 365 miserable days of my life. Meaningless until right now.
All right, we need you guys' help, okay?
Let me ask this question. What'd you do prior to doing the brewery? What'd your life look like?
Construction work, hardware. We did hardware work. We ran the hardware. So I guess for the most part, the brewery was something my brother and me kind of dreamed about doing after we started selling home brew supplies at the hardware store. It was one of those things where I showed my brother how to homebrew when I was in college. It was just one of those things we did. I thought me and a buddy in college thought it was one of the coolest things ever.
My boys are the brewers, I'm not. I understand quite a bit about brewing now. I'm the mechanical guy. I put the things together. I'm a builder, and I've been in the plumbing and electrical and all this thing all throughout my life, and I helped out an awful lot with that.
I was still going to college another couple years later. I couldn't believe come home one weekend from Eastern, and he is taking up part of the hardware store with home brew supplies. I said, you gotta be kidding. I couldn't believe he's gonna spend and use that much of the brewing supply, or of the hardware for brewing supplies. It was just an awesome thing to see him take it over, but I also, at the same time, I was like, you gotta be kidding. How much money did you put in this?
Listen, my boys, they know how to make beer. We're recognized at a lot of places. They think I have an awful lot to do with it, and I don't. They are the beer guys. They have taught me all kinds of stuff about it, and I have a great time. I go to beer festivals, we go out of state, we go out of the country, and they know about this. I mean, it's just you'd be proud if you had your kids know that. Everybody would be. I've had a great time. I've had a wonderful time.
It's great being able to do all this stuff with him. It's like he has a second career from construction going into helping us with the brewing portion of it, and that's been awesome. The thing is, still, you got your dad right there, even at being 43 years old, telling you what to do. It doesn't seem like the best of things, especially when you have all these other employees around you. But it's anybody who's been around the family business, I think they know exactly what I'm talking about. And with my brother too, we're always, it's kind of a yin and yang thing going on, clashing all the time. But that's a good kind of clashing though too, because if you don't have that to second guess what you're doing, and not everything, you've got to go and think in different perspectives, and it really helps. From a small brewery all the way to the largest breweries, the one thing that holds you back is everything always breaks. I don't care if you've got the nicest German brewing system in the world, things still break down, and you have to have somebody to fix it. So it's always one of those things that it's nice to be able to know what you're getting into and what you're doing with the stuff.
Small independent businesses are not the same as huge corporations with shareholders. We work a completely different business model. We interact with the community in a different way. And our money doesn't go to shareholders across the globe. Our money all gets plowed right back into our community. So small businesses, I think, are the heart of any community. not just our business, but I think any small business, and especially when you're talking about craft beer, it's like the line from It's a Wonderful Life, each life touches so many, that in our 18 years here, when we look back, it's kind of amazing. I mean, all of the like people who have met here and now are married and have kids, and people that sort of credit major events in their life to the fact that Arbor Brewing Company existed. One of our big focuses here is on community involvement and serving on boards and commissions and really sort of giving back and being leaders in the community. And the parking structure that you see across the street there, people sort of joke that that's the parking structure Arbor Brewing Company built, because that was our sort of first foray into politics locally. Was there used to be a parking structure there that got condemned and they weren't going to replace it. They were sort of trying to phase out municipal parking in downtown Ann Arbor, and we kind of led the charge to talk about how important it is for small businesses that we have, that city provides the infrastructure to help us as business people succeed. So I think there's a lot of ways, big and small, that one business can have a huge impact in their community.
The local attachment is huge. I think knowing where your beer comes from means a lot to a lot of people. And I think as people developed a taste for better coffee, for better bread, better beer just kind of slid right along with those items of, I want something a little bit nicer. I'm willing to spend a little bit more and maybe have a little bit less of it. And then once that happens, you start to tend to experiment more outside of the box of local. And I also think that there is a fair amount, if not a lot of pride that goes into people saying, this is my beer. I know these guys, I know this brewery, or in the broader sense, American beer. I mean, the entire brewing world is looking at the USA for the first time going, what in the world is going on over there? Breweries have just exploded here, making beer styles that have never been done before. And these old, stodgy European breweries are now looking at the US and going, we need to figure this out because we're losing market share. We're not selling beer in the US like we used to because of this proliferation. And it's really hard we see it in Michigan, it's hard for out-of-state craft breweries to do really well in Michigan because there's such pride in Michigan about Michigan beers. And it's even harder for foreign breweries to do well in the US in general because there's American pride in what the craft beer industry and scene is. And so I think it just has snowballed to that point where it's like, why would I buy a stale German lager when I've got 2,400 breweries in the US to choose from?
Well, we're on a big growing spurt right now. I think you're going to see probably about a dozen breweries just keep exploding, and then other guys that'll be growing in small intervals. And then I don't know what happens when the smoke clears in the next few years, because there's just so much growth, people asking for the beer, not just in Michigan, but all over the whole country, actually all over the world.
The quality has to be there, and that's where you might see the shakeout coming too, is if places don't have their act together with their first couple, the first year of putting beer out on the shelves. It's extremely hard to do. And so that stresses me out thinking about, how unforgiving the public can be right now, because it's a very discerning craft beer market that we're catering to.
Who knows? Everybody's trying to put in a larger brew system right now, and it's like, everybody's trying to climb to the top of the mountain right now. Where is the top of Everest? I don't know. We'll find out in a few years here, probably, where we see some cap outs and that. For the most part, I think the great thing, and I hope we can always stick to the whole thing, is we've grown as a collaborative effort with unity between all the different Michigan breweries, and it's been a big kind of a fraternity of brewers that have actually worked together and put everything together, like with our Michigan Brewers Guild and our Master Brewers Association. We're a very tight group of people.
I really don't want to lose the camaraderie that was built up, with a relatively small number of breweries really forging our way in an unknown industry together and working together to get through it.
Why you always come running to me to settle up your scores? Got my own troubles, can't you see that I ain't got time for yours?
no brewer worth their salt would be lying to you if they didn't say they wanted to start their own brewery. But it's trying to find that balance between something that's a hobby and a love. And part of home brewing is it's inefficient. We're doing it on such a small scale. We're brewing so many batches. We're always running out of beer if it's ever popular. That's kind of the fun where you like doing it the wrong way, but it's your wrong way. Yeah, sure, I could sell this, but I'd rather worry about brewing the next beer and the next beer and the next beer. I want to brew every style. I want to take that one style I did get and improve it and improve it and improve it. And maybe I just want a bunch of beer that I can have in my backyard when people come over for a barbecue. And that's what the love of the beer and the home brewing scene is all about. My name's Chris Ellison. I am the president of CLOB, which is the Kalamazoo Libation Organization of Brewers.
You know, home brewing and the craft beer scene are intermingled completely. Allowing an outlet for people to gain better knowledge and be able to communicate with others, actually tasting beers, saying, hey, what's up with this beer? Do I like this? Is this what it's supposed to taste like? And for them to hear from more experienced home brewers, hey, this is what it's supposed to taste like. You're hitting this right on. And for them to have that belief in themselves allows all these Michigan breweries to really start popping up. The majority of the craft brewers that are opening here in the Kalamazoo area started as home brewers, and many of them have been a part of CLOB for years. Dan Kiplinger from Old Peninsula, who's brews there, he was a strong founding father of this organization that is thriving so much now. Larry Bell used to have the CLOB meetings at Bell's for many, many years. And it's a stronghold in Kalamazoo. I think it's a stronghold in Southwest Michigan, and I believe it's a stronghold in all of the states. Home brewing really is the basis of better beer.
I'm actually brewing beer here now, which is a big change. We did a crowdfunding campaign through Indiegogo, and that wrapped up about 6 weeks ago. Today is the first of a series of events that we're doing to connect with our contributors, give them the premiums that they get for their contribution level, a beer or two, hang out, get to know them.
That's no wonder. Yeah. It's a fine question.
It doesn't really boil down, in my opinion, it doesn't boil down to setting yourself apart from other breweries. It boils down to making good beer. And I think there is a palate for every beer and a beer for every palate. I brew for my palate. I brew beer that I want to drink. And as long as what I'm pouring people want to drink, we're going to be successful. We are targeting opening late September, early October. Some of it is out of our control, licensing, timing, and things like that. But all signs are pretty positive right now that we should be good for a late September opening. Feeling really good about the future, about next steps, short term, long term. All the feedback that we've gotten on the beer has been solid. Everyone is liking what we're making. That at the end of the day is the most important thing. We've got a great location, and that is going to help, just drive some awareness of who we are and what we do, being in a place that in a neighborhood that people frequent and want to go to. But we definitely are looking beyond just doing the small batch, the 4-barrel, and eventually scaling what we do, getting a little bit bigger, being able to do some distribution, and with the liquor laws and changing in Michigan right now, to be able to handle some small self-distribution to kind of build the brand is really exciting. So the next 18 months are going to be something else.
We are now at a place where we've got so many breweries making so much beer. Who's drinking it? Because we're such a small, our 4% who are drinking this product right now is still 4%. 4 out of 100 people. As we continue to make more and more and more craft beer and we put it out there on the shelves, who's drinking it? Back in 1998, 1999, craft beer was surging, and all of a sudden it just dropped. people said it was the end of craft beer. The fad is over. And what had happened was the demand was rising like this, but craft beer overshot it. It had to fall back down until that demand was hit again. And for the last 10 years, it's done this. It's been rising. With the amount of product that we can produce today with 132 breweries, and you look at your top breweries in Michigan, from Bell's and Founders and New Holland and Arcadia, and I mean, go right down the line, Dark Horse, these guys all expanded capacity. We've got more capacity than ever before, and we've got more breweries than ever before, but we're 4% market share. We've got to change the consciousness of the consumer out there to drink Michigan beer. That is the biggest challenge that lies ahead of us right now.
You know, and the big boys, they thought, you know, it's a trend. It won't last. Back in the early '90s or late '80s, there as the first push was coming, even late '70s, it was that won't last. Don't worry about it.
So part of that, I think, growing like wildfire kind of scenario with craft beers, that it's going to run into some challenges, and we're starting to see some of that happen already. Certainly, shelf space is going to become limited. Even places like Siciliano's here in Grand Rapids, you walk in there and there's almost not an inch of space left for another craft beer. They keep finding ways, and they keep working hard to curate their collection. But when curation becomes part of the solution, that means people are getting left out because they don't stand up to the rest of the competition.
You know, there's a couple breweries out there, and I think a lot of people know about them, that they're not really dedicated to quality. I think they got into it just because they thought they'd make easy money, or they're just, wanted to be rock stars or something. It's just, they're not really, I don't think they have the passion. Same with some of the hop farmers that we see. They just get into it because they think they're going to make a lot of money.
I think we've had a long, great period of collaboration in craft beer, and I think that's going to continue between the right people, but I think we're also going to start seeing some competition come in. That's going to change the scene a little bit. I think ultimately competition is just part of that American story of you got to keep up or you start to lose. And so you can do that in a few different ways. You can do that by making better beer. You can do that by having a better vision. You can do that by connecting with your community in a stronger way. Ultimately, you got to kind of do all of those things.
I don't think that people are like, oh, what's the cap on number of breweries? I don't think there is, because I think it's a resurgence in people that want good beer and they're going to pay for it. I think now people are just saying, I'd rather have good beer and good food, and $11.99 for a 30-pack isn't as appealing as it used to be.
You never know when something's going to drop off, whether it be whatever craft beer. It's just always going up until that slope kind of starts going down. Will craft beer ever start going down now that it has such a big momentum going up? Will it plateau? Does it matter? You know what I mean? As long as people know about craft beer and have that option, like, geez, we connect with 25% of the population in the next 10 years. That's good. That's really good from the 4% that we were at in 2007.
It's up to the people, the consumers, that they'll pick that tipping point of it's just too much. When you have 18 breweries in the same city, if that city's not able to host it, then they'll pick their favorites. But we saw it in the mid '90s. There was the first kind of washout. Guys that weren't really prepared to go all the way, and so the number of breweries grew, and then it shrunk. And then all of a sudden it started to climb again, right in the late 90s, early 2000s, early mid 2000s, it started to climb again. And now, like I said, 130 breweries in the state of Michigan. I never saw that coming, but nobody seems to be complaining about it. Everybody's wondering who the next new brewery is going to be. So my thoughts are, make great beer, make it everywhere.
What are we doing?
Well, today is a couple things. Today's our second anniversary party, so we're going to be pretty busy with just having stuff going on. We promote it, but we never make like a huge deal out of our anniversary, but we always have a good turnout. You want to see what we've done over here?
Yeah.
So our long-term capacity for expansion is we have all of this we can build building in and kind of over into here over to the employee parking area. It's an extra step, but it's better than us schlepping kegs and bottles across the street every day. And it was just meant to buy us time until, oh, here comes Jesus. Look how long his hair is now. Isn't that amazing? He threatened to cut it the other day. I was like, you better not.
The day of paradise, right?
Yeah, I'm kidding. How you doing?
Happy birthday.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, you like?
wanted to say hi.
Oh, that's cool. I'm just showing around. I haven't seen any of the new stuff. By the way, Spec Grain smells like crap.
It smells like freaking.
It smells like
pigs.
Yeah, it smells like pig manure.
It's life having a brewery, man. This is good. This is stuff we should have behind the bar for like if they can't think of what to say to a customer that's a jerk.
Well, I brought over two. You know my bizarre fascination.
You're a few birds shy of a flock. A sharp tongue is no indication of a keen mind. I don't know about that one. Let's switch places. You be funny and I'll be an asshole. Is your memory in black and white? Joe, your social security number must be in single digits. What time is it? Is it 12 yet?
I'll be back.
This is our second anniversary party. It's crazy. It's crazy that it's 2 years. I mean, I can't believe we're only 2. That part of it is strange to me. I remember opening the doors 2 years ago. I remember how small we were. I mean, all of this to me is surreal. But, you know, it's amazing to have, you know, like a mug club of 2,000 and to have all this, if you go online, like there's all this Twitter activity today and all these people tweeting and Instagramming pictures, old photos. So to have all of that and all this hoopla and sense of celebration around our second anniversary is awesome.
Today's been a good long day, but an awesome day. You know, it's really cool to celebrate our anniversary, but for me it's even more exciting to see how well our staff can pull together and do something like this. You know, it wasn't anything super crazy, but knowing that everybody works together so well, and that's what got us here, is everybody being so awesome.
Tomorrow's a new day. It's another work day. It's another day slinging bottles. You know, it's not like tomorrow we stop or tomorrow doesn't suck in some ways and isn't hard in others, but you know, it feels like today we get to celebrate. It hasn't all been in vain. The hardships and the stuff is a word I like, but it feels like that's validated a little bit. I like that part of it.
We did it. 2 years. I can't decide if it feels like 10 years or like a week. You know, everybody's aged about 10 years, I feel like, but it's flown by and it's incredible to see everything, and it's so cool to get all of our customers in here. And you know, we saw a lot of people here today that have been here since day one or close to it, and I think that's awesome. It's a testament to our success and their happiness and the growth of the company and all the good stuff in Michigan.
So this is Taste of Kalamazoo, ran by Emily, but it's Taste of Kalamazoo and Brew is what we're calling it.
Well, what this means is that this is the beer center of the world. I think Mayor Hopewell would say it's the beer center of the universe.
Is the mind.
But between Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo, we represent the craft brewing center of the universe. It is, it's become a huge piece of both communities' economies, of our life as cities. It represents vitality, it represents youth, it represents innovation, it represents entrepreneurship, and it represents just a great time. So to the beer region, of Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, we're leading the way.
Absolutely. It's all about this region, our state, and our involvement in tinkering. We are makers of things. And often they're the best things in our lives. Cars, all kinds of mechanical devices over the years in our history of Michigan has been about this making and creating and innovating. And now we've wandered into this realm, this universe of being the best at developing and creating these microbrews. So you have two amazing cities, arguably the best cities in Michigan, moving this culture, moving this placemaking, moving these communities and the quality of life that flows around this opportunity of microbrewing. That's what this is all about. Our economies, our quality of life, creating great places, and places that young people want to live, work, and play.
1, 2, 3. Let's drink Michigan beer from coast to coast, from far and near. It's local and delicious. Any styles that you wish us. Raise your glass and toast your friends. Let's drink Michigan beer.
It's pretty amazing when you think about all the breweries that are located in the U.S. and the world, that we have over 135 breweries in the state of Michigan, and 125 of those belong to the Michigan Brewers Guild and that participate in this festival. We've got almost 1,000 beers on tap today from Michigan breweries. And the flavors and styles are so diverse, no matter what your palate is, you can find something that will work for you. My name's Steve Berthel. I'm a pub brewer at New Holland Brewing Company and a board member of the Michigan Brewers Guild. And we are here in beautiful Ypsilanti, Michigan at Riverside Park for the 16th annual Michigan Brewers Guild Summer Festival, which for the first time in 16 years has sold out.
Who needs an extra ticket? This handsome man with a megaphone is selling extra tickets for you.
Crazy new shit. Arbor and Atwater. How about Jolly Pumpkin? Did you go to Jolly Pumpkin?
Don't have time for that.
Went to Summerfest, having fun. We got a lot of people coming through from all over, appreciating the beer.
Summer Beer Fest obviously is great. It's our biggest festival we have as brewers in Michigan or the Guild. There's some other great festivals that we do, but this one by far is probably the best, the biggest. It's a kick-ass festival, rain or shine.
Here goes!
I've been a board member for the Michigan Brewers Guild for 6 years now, and this is like probably the most important part of this aspect that I can relate to, is being part of the legislative process of working with legislators in Lansing to perpetuate craft beer in Michigan, which is one of the highest grossing and tax-paying industries in the state now that employs lots of people. And every single little town in Michigan is getting a brewery now. And the restaurants are farm to table, and they hire local people, and they give back, and they have a local meeting spot for people. To me, this is the big mission of Michigan beer and craft beer in general, is to bring our communities back together with a central place to meet. It's not about the beer as much as it is about relating with your human beings that live next to you in your town, regardless of gender, political affiliations, color, any of those things that may be a barrier to people in our society now, where it's all broken down because you're all sitting your butts at the bar for one reason and one reason only, for a Michigan-made craft beer made locally to support local produce and local people. And I think that's a beautiful thing in today's society, and where most people are so wrapped up in their electronic world, they forget about the one-to-one meeting of people. And when you go into a brewery and there's no TVs and you get to talk about whatever it is that's on your mind, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, Christian or Jewish, it doesn't matter. You're all there for the same reason. You learn about your fellow human beings. And this is what the English and the French and the Germans realized centuries ago. The pub was the center of the community, and now we're bringing that back. So that's it. That's all I have to say about what I'm doing and why I do it. So cheers to you all.
And thank you, Michigan consumers, for buying Michigan beer and demanding from your local pubs and taverns that we have Michigan beer on tap. Not beer from Colorado, not beer from Chicago, not beer from California, but beer from fucking Michigan!
Ready? All right.
I don't have to work. I want a job where I don't feel like a jerk. I want an office and a view. I want an office next to you. I want a job where I don't have to work. Did it.